You Always Act for Yourself by Appia Lude, February 2015. Since expropriation is a way of getting away from slavery individually, the risks have to be borne individually. As well, and comrades who practice expropriation for themselves lose every right, if such a right even exists for anarchists, and I don't believe it, to claim the solidarity of the movement when they fall into misfortune. Brand Enrico Aragani. I took this quotation of Enrico Aragani, aka Frank Brand, from an article he wrote called The Right to Idleness and Individual Reappropriation, that appeared in his publication, Heresies of Today and Tomorrow, published in the mid to late 1920s. In the article, he didn't only attack the doctrine of the dignity of labor, then popular in radical circles, but also any moralistic conception of solidarity. While defending individual expropriation, Aragani also pointed out that those who choose this path can expect automatic solidarity because they are acting for themselves. And so they are alone have to bear the risk of their action and be prepared to face the consequences for themselves. I want to expand on this. You see, I always act for myself, regardless of what sort of action I take and regardless of the situation in which I take it. And from what I observe, no one acts differently from this. Some just seem to feel the need for altruistic or collective glosses to cover their egoistic intentions. And sadly, some of them even start to believe those glosses are more real than their desires and aspirations. And yet, the element of self-interest is always there, even if the altruistic, moralistic delusion undermines the possibility of self-enjoyment. I always act for myself. Then, in a certain sense, I also always act alone, even when I take an action with others. What I do in such a situation is what I'm willing and able to do, and so it's unique to me. I do it with my own intentions and for my own reasons. If I do an action with others, it is because I have found a situation in which my intentions, desires, and reasons can interweave with theirs in a way that enhances my self-creative energy, my ability to fight authority, and my self-enjoyment. So my reasons remain solely mine. And in this sense, I am still acting alone. I consider this important in understanding the nature of an association of willful self-creators. Here you recognize that you are in it for yourself. I recognize that I'm in it for myself. And this undisguised awareness is the basis for a mutual trust. It also means that I can expect nothing of you except what it gives you enjoyment to offer me. And I can only know that insofar as I have experience of you. You and I need to develop a sort of kinship, a deep shared experience of each other through which you and I come to understand something of the desires, the aspirations, the ideas, the reasons, the capacities each has, and how these things can interweave to our mutual benefit. But even with such deep experimental knowledge of each other, it isn't wise for me to expect anything from you, or for you to expect anything from me. Each of us is a self-creator, and so changing constantly in terms of what gives us enjoyment. Since in every situation, I am acting for myself, not for the group, the cause, the ideal, I'd be a fool to expect solidarity. I and I alone am responsible for what I do, and I have to be prepared to accept the consequences, whether to my benefit or to my harm. Nor do I owe solidarity to anyone. In many anarchist circles, this is major heresy. But solidarity owed is an ideal above you and me, and like all ideals, never exist in actuality. It makes for a lot of babble and mistaken verbal support for solidarity. When I recognize I always act alone for myself, when I don't expect solidarity, it is no longer an ideal. It is a relationship between individuals, a relationship based on mutual benefit. It comes to me as a gift, and to those whose actions spark my generosity. I may offer it as a gift, but to those who demand it, I offer nothing.